Welcome to iPen Podcast, Interviews and Conversations. Here we bring entrepreneurs and their business to their audience and communities as well as ours. We welcome and connect with them to share who they are and what they do. Authors, entrepreneurs, we extend the invitation to promote your business here on our podcast and in iPen Magazine. Your article, your story, your promotions, how you can connect with others, a new audience, a quarterly magazine presented online for all to view and subscribe to. For articles, ads, and subscriptions, please contact ipendesigns@gmail.com. For your viewing, you can see past articles, past interviews on www.nanettembuchanan.com. Welcome to the show. Good evening, good evening, good evening. My name is Nanette Buchanan, and I am trying to figure it out. You know, it happens every now and then. I don't know what happens, but we're going to go with this. There we go. Good evening, good evening, good evening. My name is Nanette Buchanan, and again, I hit a glitch. I'm still learning, y'all, so hang in there with me. Hang in there with me. Tonight, we're going to continue our conversation in regards to our youth, the community, and what we need to do to make sure that they're okay, trying to keep them in line, especially those who have fallen out of line and need help. They need leaders. They need mentors. So tonight's show is going to be very interesting because I admire the work of the gentleman who's coming to talk to us. And I admire what he does because it's what I used to do. Community involvement with the youth. We're not talking about involvement with a society or a class of people who may or may not have been involved. We're talking about people that are involved and stay connected. So first, before we do all other things, I want to bring to the stage my partner in crime, Felice. Good evening.
How are you?
How are you?
Actually, you know what?
How you doing?
I'm great.
Good.
Allergies have calmed down a bit, so thank you.
The weather must be agreeing with you down there.
I don't know. I didn't go outside all day today, so.
Are you in Texas this week?
Yeah, I am.
All right. So the weather is agreeing with you down there in Texas.
Well, for today. Yesterday it wasn't my friend, but.
Today it is. Okay.
Today it is.
It's a little chilly today.
No. According to my daughter, it's really hot out there, and I'm about to go see. Because I'm gonna take a walk and.
All right. Well, today again, we're going across the states because I'm in North Carolina. You're in Texas, and our guest will tell us where he's calling from.
Yeah.
But the thing about it is, we're doing things all across the border to find people that do commonality, the commonality things that do in business, in community, and in wellness.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're about, trying to keep everyone well, our youth and as well as ourselves.
Yeah, I'm really excited about talking to him because according to his bio, there are some things that stuck out to me that I really am curious about.
You really are curious? Really?
I really am curious.
You thought he was interesting.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. Well, you know what? That's a good thing because the thing about it is if we're interested in the guests that we bring on, it will make the audience interested too.
So we should be interested in.
So we should be interested in who we bring on.
Yeah, and so far so good. I think we're batting about a 98%.
At least. Yeah. We won't give ourselves 100 because people might think that's a little conceit, So we're gonna say, But yeah, I'd say the same thing, about 98%. And I do believe that with the follow-ups that we get, people are interested in hearing from the people that we pick. So I'm glad about that. So tonight we have someone special on.
Yes,
we have. I consider him a friend.
Okay.
Okay. I can honestly say moving to North Carolina, I didn't know many people,
Mhm.
and I met his wife, and then she introduced her, him to me and my husband.
Mhm.
I was more interested in what he did because
Mhm.
it was similar to what I did in New Jersey.
Right.
Working with the kids in the
Mhm.
community, being a
Yeah.
mentor and doing all of that other stuff. And then
Mhm.
his wife was, doing all of these business things and everything. I was like, well, wait a minute.
Yeah.
I got to flip and flop between
Right.
them because I like what she does too. So I
Mhm.
really, 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 thought about it during this month, the
Mhm.
things that go on in the community with the children going back to school and the difficulties some of them have. I
Yeah.
really wanted him to come on.
Sure.
So we're going to do what we normally do, and we're
Mhm.
going to bring him to the stage. Tonight's guest is Alphonso Short. Good evening, sir.
Yay.
How
Good
are
evening, good
you?
evening, good evening.
How are you?
I'm
Hello.
doing excellent. Thank you for the opportunity to be on your podcast. And don't try to put any more pressure on me with your 98%, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, we got to keep our score up now. We got to keep our score up.
She's getting
So
up into 98.5. So
yeah, yeah, lift it
no
a little,
pressure.
lift it a little. We want to see an increase. But I'm gonna ask you, as we do every guest each week. We do not introduce our guests other than their name to say why we call them on the show. But we'd like for you to introduce yourself because you know yourself better than we do. So if you would please, please, please tell us,
Yes,
who is Alphonso Short?
yes. Thank you again. My name is Alphonso Short. I, I'm I currently live in Walls, Mississippi. I know that you're in Fayetteville, North Carolina, Miss Nanette, and you're in Texas, some part of Texas. And so,
Dallas.
we're across the state lines and doing things. I'm originally from North Carolina and Washington, D.C. My formative years were in Washington, D.C. I'm a retired federal government employee of 36 years. I just retired 3 years ago, and learning how to enjoy retirement as well as continue to be fruitful to society.
Amen.
My
Yeah.
background is working with children, as Miss Nanette said. I've since forever. My parents and family were one who did a lot of work in the community. They were the neighborhood house where all the kids hung out with
Mhm.
myself and my cousin, and just giving back to society is just in the DNA, so to say.
Mhm.
Um, I've been married 27 years to my lovely
Yay.
wife, Miss Anissa Short, which you guys mentioned a little
Mhm.
earlier. Um, and I spend most of my time working with young people. I've worked with after school programs in Washington D.C., Maryland, North Carolina, as well as here in Mississippi. Before I lived in Tupelo, Mississippi area from 1998 to 2001, and was involved with the Boys and Girls Club, which really ignited my fire with kids even the more.
Mhm.
Seeing that to expose underprivileged kids, so to say, and that's the neighborhood that and community I was working with at the time. I think all kids should have opportunity to be exposed to things in their environment. So I had a great opportunity to do that. From that point, I moved to Jackson, Mississippi in 2001, and I'm giving this in some chronological order.
Okay.
There, I worked. I coached basketball, refereed basketball, worked with youth in my church. Did a lot of public speaking if opportunities arose to just speak to young people and mentor not only young kids but young adults and men as well. I am a certified Christian life coach, so I've been exposed to working with people at all levels. As Miss Nanette said, and meeting her through my wife in North Carolina, and she being a prolific author in itself, but then her kinship with working with community and children really made me interested in being around her as much as possible to glean from her with experience. And it's been a great experience. And we're still going to collaborate and do some things. We're trying
Yes,
to get
yes.
connected with some things. And we we moved suddenly, but we planned to move, but more suddenly than we thought we would. We moved to Mississippi in July.
Oh,
Mhm.
We actually moved from Fayetteville in June, and in
mm-hmm.
July, first week of July, we were moved into our home here. Now I am now comfortable and set up like being at home,
Mhm.
ready to become more active. The past 3 years in Fayetteville, North Carolina, I worked in the school system as a volunteer mentor with third, fourth, fifth grade boys, and really learned a lot about myself as well as young people. My idea is that we catch them early
Yeah.
to find out what's on their mind and to
Mhm.
motivate them, because too many times we look at the newspapers and see teenagers who's gone away and they're putting themselves in adult situations from the
Mhm.
criminal system, and we
Yeah.
need to start doing preventive measures with that.
Mhm.
Exactly, exactly.
Right.
And not only that, the advocating for youth, like you said, sometimes they can't find the voice
Mhm.
that
Yes,
needs to be able to correlate with the school system or the social services system.
yes,
They can't really speak to that, but they can tell you all of the problems that they're having, and sometimes they haven't even expressed them at home. You
yes.
know, sometimes they haven't even told their family, well, you know,
That's
I
true.
feel this way or I feel that way. And you being a support and an advocate for them, I'm quite sure you can speak to that point, that
Mhm.
there's a lot of things that they tell you, even about the system. They
Yeah.
can
Yes,
even tell you how the system is failing them or
Mhm.
failing their family, more so than the mother or the father coming and admitting, hey, we don't have this or we can't get that. A lot of times it may very well be the child that speaks up to the advocator or to the coach or to
Mhm.
the mentor, you know, or to the teacher.
yes.
They're the ones that speak up.
And
Um,
you're exactly right. What
mhm,
I've learned over the years, and definitely in the last 3 to 5 years of working with closer to the school system and the pressures that instructors and counselors and every administrator have in trying to reach out to the children, it's on a limited amount of time. So my coming in was
mhm,
kind of really a relief. I let the principals and counselors and social workers know I'm here to be, hopefully I'm a relief valve for a teacher or two or yourself, that I can spend some time and engage with the kids if it's an hour,
mhm.
2 hours, where you can decompress and get ready because it's your full-time job. I'm going to
Yeah.
do 2 days, 3 days a week, and I'm gone. And not that I forget about it, but I don't have to deal with this as a
Right.
job.
Exactly.
And
And not
I
only
wouldn't,
that, the thing about it too is that a lot of people believe, and I want you to speak on this, a lot of people believe that you have to be that hired person from the board,
Mhm.
right.
that you have to be the person that they decide comes in.
Mhm.
But a lot of times, what they don't recognize is that as a volunteer, you can go in and talk to the
Yes.
principal and talk
Yeah.
to the coaches that are there and talk to the teachers that
That,
are there.
that's very true.
You don't even have to look for a paycheck.
Yeah,
You
correct.
can be doing it as,
Mhm.
Yeah.
like you said, it's a mentorship, and you want the kids to join a club or you want the kids to
Yeah.
join a group. You're not looking for that, you know, 9 to 5 job. You're not
Right.
there for the 9 to 5 job.
And I'm not coming in with credentials is fine, but you got to have a passion. I have a passion
Mhm,
for what I
mhm,
do and
Yeah.
giving back,
Yeah.
mhm.
because
Yeah.
I had people give to me, and I'm fortunate. I don't have the story to tell you that I came up in an underprivileged household and
Exactly.
parents. I am a single parent. My mother was divorced when I was younger age, but I had the village, my
Yeah.
Mhm.
grandparents, my aunt,
Right,
my
right,
uncle,
Mhm.
the extended
right.
family. I'm 61, so I was born in 63. So
Mhm.
there's a
Mhm.
different kind of um, paradigm of what parenting and family meant doing that. Not
Exactly.
not to
Yeah.
negate what it is today, but
Right.
as you spoke earlier, it really makes a difference to be able to make contact with the children and then hope that you can find. I'm not in navigating to be in their business, but
Mhm.
to understand what role their parents are playing in their life, not in judgment of how can I hopefully be some stimulus to the kids to start maybe respecting more the adults
Mm-hmm.
or the caretakers in their life, because I see it in the school system. It's so rapidly fast, and the kids, the discipline isn't there sometimes. And we can say,
Mm-hmm.
well, it's easy to profile. They're from this neighborhood. It's going to be like that. But I think behavior, conduct and behavior is very important, because the teachers are there to teach whatever the subject matter is. They may love kids, but try to control kids for 50 minutes of a class, and you have to spend 35, 40 minutes doing that. Then you only have 10 minutes to really do what they're expert at a particular subject.
Mm-hmm.
But I believe that kids sometimes learn in an unconventional way. So I come in with conversation. I'm not coming in to preach and teach. You need to be quiet, this and that. Now, that's been a part of my training ground growing up, is that stop, be quiet, please sit down. I would do that for hours and hours at schools, Boys and Girls Club after schools.
And it doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
It doesn't work. I can remember a funny story. I went in a classroom and I must have sat 15 minutes maybe of the time that was allotted. We were doing the readathon. So you go into a classroom and you read a book. Well, I got my book, but I can't read because the class is running around like haywire. And it took the lady 15 minutes. I found out she was a substitute. So they really would run in amok on her. And when she turned around and she said to me, well, I think they're ready. I said, I'm not reading to these kids. And when I said that, the whole room got silent. Everybody that was whispering, pushing each other, everybody stopped. I said, I will not come in here as a guest and be confronted with this type of behavior. I said, so I don't know. What do y'all want to do? Because y'all doing everything you want to do now. Why, tell me where to sit and join in, because it seems like y'all got the run of the class. And by the end of the class, I had them writing a story about the teacher that was not there and the teacher that was there. But it changed the whole atmosphere simply because I told them, look, I know y'all know better than this. Y'all just acting up because y'all want to act up.
Right. And you think you have a space for it.
Right. So sometimes you do have to come out of the conventional format to like kind of tell them that, look, that's not the way the world doesn't adapt to you.
And that's my major thing, is preparation for their future.
Right.
Because not that I'm still preparing for my future. I'm 61. But the young people, your future is so much greater. And it may appear that you have time, but we don't know our time in life. We all have expiration dates. So I want you to position yourself.
We got a glitch.
He froze a little bit.
Yeah, he froze a little bit.
Not just me, him.
It might just be him. How about we do this and we get that straight?
You got to say.
There we go. Okay.
I try to emphasize to them to share their dreams. With not only with me, let's share dreams with each other so that we know who we are and what we're about, so we can support each other's dreams and that we can support ideas. That I let them know that you have one of your peers very well may be the link to you becoming better at this or something else. And for me, every time I go into a classroom or opportunity to speak, I become a better speaker. I become a better, if you say, instructor on how to deal with situations from one school to another. They're all the same grades, but now I got my arsenal to go in. The control, I don't want the control that I have power. I want control that we can share with each other.
We can share.
In the time that we're here. Share and grow. And I try to implement this and let them know that what I'm doing is something that you practice. Take it home with you. It's like homework. But I'm not checking it. Take good manners. Take etiquette home. Take respect home. Take helping someone else in your family or someone else in your neighborhood. Take that home with you and practice that. Let that become your norm. And then you'll find that changes what happened in your life. Making different and better decisions isn't something screaming at somebody would do. Even as adults,
Exactly.
we have things we need to change, and it's our mindset.
Yeah.
But it's hard to do it because we have been conditioned, and to be deconditioned to recondition, we know it's not an easy task.
No, it's not. No, it's not. Now, go ahead, please.
Okay, so I guess let's not dial it back, but I just have some foundational questions to ask you. So as you said, growing up, as you worded it, it sounded like you're an only child. Are you?
I am. I'm only child.
It sounds like that.
Born on Christmas Day.
Oh, very good. Awesome. You and Jesus have something in common, huh?
My mother said she wasn't going through it again because I was born in Harlem, New York, with plenty of snow.
Wow.
I
don't blame her. I don't blame your mom at all. And especially at Christmas, it's like, okay, now what do we do? The holiday, the baby, we got the whole package here. So now we can't top that. So might as well not do it again.
Right. And what made you think I was the only child?
As you worded something you said about growing up, and you said yourself and your cousin.
Yeah. Well, I had a cousin I grew up with that's 6 months. I'm 6 months older than him. And everyone to today think we're brothers. And me and him and my grandparents raised both as my aunts, my uncles. Like I say, the village,
right. And that's the other thing you had said about the village, that you said the village, and I thought, oh, only child, which again gives. You're gonna push us up to that 99 percentile. And here's why. Because in this society today, it is so hard to find someone unselfishly advocating and supporting, and especially in this space of men and young boys. So already, I normally save this to the end, but already my hat goes off to you for using your gifts for this world. And so that really made me curious of how this act of service, it must be part of your DNA, but I don't want to speak for you, but how you got into this space of truly giving back, because we know that as a single child, as an only child, the world, whether it's not your fault, but the world centers around you, right?
Yes, I guess it could have, but really problem with me unknowing of it, because I didn't grow up in a biased environment and I'm the oldest child. I was the first grandchild. My mother was the first child, and then came cousins and all of this, but there was no favoritism. And my grandfather raised 2.5 generations with nothing, so to say, with a 6th grade education, which is probably less than that. And I never heard him complain about anything in life. In all my life, I often question, how does he do it? Because it seemed like he worked all the time to ensure that the family had what we had and was happy as the kids, as his children, my aunts and uncles. It seemed like we had it all, but I didn't think about it. We were well accommodated, blessed, so to say, knowingly and unknowingly.
Which further speaks to the importance and or the benefits of a village, right? And we definitely have less of that in today's society, right? We definitely have less of that. So again, I'm saying kudos not only to your village, but to yourself for, again, turning that into, or taking that and just making it a calling on your life to advocate for the community. So
and I had great if we call it role models, I had great uncles and aunts
Mm-hmm.
that was about, there was no fine line between right and wrong. You're either doing right or you're doing wrong. It wasn't
Mm-hmm.
about we're gonna ground you and punish you in this because it's wrong.
Yeah.
Look at life as teachable moments. Some
Mm-hmm.
decisions you're gonna make uh, may not be the best decision, but you can redo that.
Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
my thing is that my mother never even played sports, and I was an athlete growing up, and my opportunities in life became greater being an athlete.
Mm-hmm.
She knew nothing about sports, and I played a sport. Baseball was my first sport, organized, and I wanted to win a championship, and we lost it. And I was really first time I can even reflect now. I was in myself. Why did we lose?
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, "Well, if you felt that was failure, then you get another opportunity to try to succeed if you want to." And that stayed chiseled in my heart and in my
Wow.
mind. That became more of a mantra for me.
Right.
And well, it's not the worst thing in the world. I'm
Right.
winning. I
Right.
learned something,
Mm-hmm.
become better as an individual, then also help become better as a team player, which then turns to being a leader to help
Mm-hmm.
other people be better because we're
Yeah.
all in different places and stages of life,
Mm-hmm.
and we're connected, whether we believe it or know it, I want it to be or not, that we're just human beings, regardless of whatever walk of life we come from. And we're taught ideologies,
Mm-hmm.
then we kind of create our own customs and values and principles. And your family teaches you something, but as you mature, you grow into some things of your own. And I was allowed to be an independent thinker.
Yeah.
I wasn't a kid getting in a lot of trouble. I grew up around trouble. Thank God that even my friends that get in trouble wouldn't allow me to get in trouble.
There you go. There you go.
Right, right.
I mean, that's it. You
Yeah.
can't do that. You can't do that because your grandfather, your grandmother, your mother.
Yeah.
I can't complain. I thank them for it now.
Yeah.
Exactly. And you know what? That's funny. We realize it as we go along. We look at the different things we didn't get a chance to do, or didn't do the right way, or that we wanted to do better. And we look at how our parents responded, how the community responded, maybe how our coach responded, how our friends responded. We look at all of that. But now that we're older, we look at it so differently.
Yes.
It's a whole different view of
It
why
is.
maybe they didn't say anything or what we learned from it. Like you said, you were very upset because you lost, but now you look back at it and say how much better it made you
Yeah.
because of the loss.
I learned to create win-win situations.
Yeah, and we all want the win-win situation, but we got, like I said, my father had this theory. He used to say it all the time, and I used to just look at him and go, "Yeah, okay, that sounds good, but that ain't what it is." He used to say all the time, before you can become a winner, you have to learn how to lose.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I never ever thought of that until I became a coach. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You don't think of it that way when you're the player. You think of it later on. So the lessons you learn from your grandfather and from your parents, the lessons that you learn and from those in that village are lessons that you carry with you, and you don't even know you're carrying them.
Yes.
At the time of your youth, you don't, I mean, some of that stuff sticks in your mind, and later on, as you go to bed, you go, they must be crazy. I wanted to win that game.
Right.
What was they thinking about? I practiced
hard. Playing if you don't want to win it, right?
Right. What is the sense of me playing it? And then talking about something philosophical that you're not even into. But it shows. It shows. And it's a part of the support that some of our youth don't get.
They don't. And I try very hard to share. And like now, it's not like I'm your uncle coming in. I tell the kids, I'm 60. I'm over 60. So I'm like your grandfather.
Exactly.
And I've worked in environments where I had a kid ask me, what is a grandfather?
Oh.
Well, if you consider, and if you hadn't noticed, I'm African-American male.
Right.
No empathy or sympathy with it. I don't have no pity party story.
Right.
We understand the climate of America, but it was long before I was born. And you
right.
too. Okay, so we deal with the situation, but in households, unfortunately, in our culture, the African American culture, a lot of
They
times,
may not know what a grandfather
grandmother
is.
wasn't married, mother's not married, and it just wasn't there wasn't a man
wasn't
in the
there.
house, so to say.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
you know, if grandmother wasn't married, then he doesn't have a grandfather.
Mm-hmm.
And,
That's right.
right. And then that brings us to the parents in the community. You know,
Right.
I remember when the gang influence was increasing in New Jersey, and part of our thing as officers was to go into the community and the schools and try to talk to the kids about what they were doing,
Mm-hmm.
not to tell on who they were affiliating with, but
Right.
to try to get them to understand that a gang does not have to be a negative gang. You could
Right.
be in the choir and you're a
Right.
gang, you know,
Sure.
because the definition of gang has nothing to do with the violence and the criminality. It has
Right.
to do with the actual idea that one group comes together and has the same ideology.
Right.
But they had to understand that. They had to understand that. So in going to the school, and this is the question that I'm going to pose to you. In going to the school, we found that the teachers nor the parents understood what was going on with the kids.
Very true.
It wasn't so much that the teachers knew this and the parents knew that. Neither group had any idea that the kids that were coming with the handkerchief hanging out of one pocket, the shoelaces being the same color, they didn't realize this was gang-like mentality. Some of it was, yes, they're all in the book club. Yes, they're all in, you know, they're getting ready to pledge and be, you know, sorority sisters.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
so they had that mentality. But then there were some that were bullying and that were doing something. And when we said it to the teachers, they were like, no, they always dress like that.
Right.
They're always hanging together. You know, they had not noticed that. So for you, when you went into, you know, different areas of the schools, did you have to educate some of the parents and some of the teachers?
That was my ultimate goal in initiating everything, is that even when I would introduce my readiness to work with a school, I would ask them, what kids am I working with? And many times it's the ones that they had said behavior problems in the classroom. So not that I'm coming in as a behavior specialist,
right?
But the teachers needed really them out of the classroom in a positive environment still, where they could work with the kids who were really wanting to grasp things. So my thing is to find out where they coming from with authority, how they feel about authority. It's not just their parent, just a grown person telling them what to do. And I'm not your parent. So
right.
And I made it clear, you know I'm not your parent, but I am an adult. I do care about your well-being. You're here with me because you have had some poor conduct and behavior, and I want to find out what's going on with you. And the thing is, one thing you said, because it's easy to put one model up. These are the detention hall kids, or whatever they call it.
Right.
My thing is, what is the model that we're working with? Because what I need to know where they were from an interpersonal skills and communication.
Exactly.
What difficulties is going on there? What's happening from their mouth, not from what someone else is telling me, from what they're doing. How do they feel? Are they depressed? Are they suppressing their feelings? And why? Do you feel like you can share with someone? I want to be that safe place that you can do that. I want this to be the safe place. And we watch enough news and hear enough stories of kids being with substance abuse issues. And I'm looking at 3rd, 4th, 5th graders. And it's in North Carolina, not Washington, D.C., not New York, not a major city in Texas, in the little small North Carolina, Fayetteville, North Carolina. And it's going on. 3rd, 4th, 5th graders who are on stuff. Because it's in the
bringing it to school, selling it.
Yes.
Selling it as well. It's not so much that they're getting it from someone else. They're getting it from classmates.
So I'm listening to the language of these young, and I'm working now particularly with young men. I'm listening to their language. And if I close my eyes, I'm thinking I'm talking to teenagers to early 20-year-olds, because they're in it, man. They're in it. But see, I'm in with khakis on and a button-down shirt. They don't think Mr. Short know anything about this life.
Exactly.
I'm not glorifying that life.
Yeah.
But you know, I know
But
very
you've
much
been
about
around
this
it.
stuff.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's right. That's right.
So I could connect dots with them and get their attention with some things. And then a lot of them got into expressing themselves. And believe it or not, many of them, they brought the suicide thing up. I talked with kids who saying they were considering murdering somebody, third, fourth, fifth grade, because they were upset and this that things happened that was more gang related type activity. So my thing was we got to get some order and some discipline, but that's something each individual has to work on from where you
Has to
are.
work on for
Sure.
themselves.
Yeah,
Exactly.
where they are. That's
And the second part of that question is, what do we do about the system? How can we? I mean, some of the measures that they go through, some of the things that they go through, we as leaders and mentors, coaches, we've seen where it's not going to work.
Yes.
You can throw it at them and see if
Yeah.
if the paint sticks on the wall.
Yeah.
I'm telling you that the paint blends in with what's on the wall. It's not going to cause anybody to pay attention to
Right.
the change that you want to make because it's not effective.
It doesn't. And Miss Nanette, you know, I talked with you when I started venturing into the third, fourth, fifth grade boys in the last 2.5, 3 years. And I set a program, I call it a program, that I would like to work from this for the next 6 to 8 weeks.
Right.
And I got phases and what we're going to do, but I may not cover 1/10 of that.
May not get
to know that what we started working on self-discipline, respect for each other, learning to communicate, finding out what their deepest interests are, what their fears are. A lot of my time was with basic questions. What's your favorite color? What's your favorite food?
Right.
You know, simple things.
I even had that question asked.
Right.
Exactly. Exactly.
One of my drills is that when I work with Boys and Girls Club, because the parents did have to come pick their kids up, I had a day that they gave me. I work with the kids. It was open conversation. And I would have them, those simple questions. What is your favorite movie? What's your favorite color? Who's your favorite actor? This or that? Who's your favorite relative? And I have them put that on sheets of paper. The parents would show up and I say, they come in, I say, well, today I want you to identify your kid for me.
Right.
I got those pages hung up on the wall.
Can't do it. Can't
do it. It wasn't 98.5%.
Right.
Nowhere near that.
That's nothing to laugh at. That it's really,
and it's
really
because I took time to
talk to
them and listen to them. And one of my point to this was that this is why your kids can be easily influenced by people who don't have their best interests, because they found one thing that was their interest.
Was their interest. They take a little bit of time. And the thing about it is,
got in their village.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the other thing about the system is that I tend to disagree with is a lot of times they come down with a punishment that deflects from the education,
right,
as well as deflects from what they're getting from a program.
Right.
For example, if someone is suspended for whatever amount of time that their suspension may be, the system has not set up something in between to discuss the reason for the suspension and the change needed in the behavior, so that when they come back from suspension, they fit in and have changed in a positive manner.
Right.
Yes.
Just having a kid be suspended and him doing online subjects or doing online things does not help the behavior that sent them into that mode.
That's getting away from that. What is it they call it? The pipeline, preschool to prison.
Exactly.
That's what's happening. What you speak of, Ms. Nanette, is something that I emphasize is the end game that I call it. And it's providing academic and non-academic activities to identify the strengths and weaknesses of a child
that they have. That's right.
And then create a support group that they become successful at putting the necessary things in order to get strong.
Exactly.
And they may not ever become the best, but get stronger in what they're weaker in and get
Hmm.
stronger in what they're stronger in.
Sure.
Exactly. Exactly. And then not only that, I found too that there were a lot of children that withdraw.
Yeah.
And they may not withdraw because they have a problem at home. They
Yeah.
may not withdraw because they have a problem with academics. They may not even withdraw because they have a problem with the community of youth that they blend in with.
Right.
Their withdrawal may very well be that they're above the norm. And I
True.
didn't realize that until I
Yeah.
took the course in college for special what they call gifted children.
Yes.
A lot of times the gifted child is in a class where they're over excellers. They can do the
Mhm.
work.
Yeah.
Yes.
And at home they're not really understood because some of them are smarter than the
Right.
adults that are there.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's another part of the system where I think we don't want to constantly send them for testing and everything else, but
Yeah,
it needs to be able to be recognized.
they may
Right.
not be, as adults, we know we may not be very good at taking a test for something, but we have the skill and ability that we're gifted with to do a
Exactly.
thing. And I mean, we're just a big kid.
It-
So
yeah.
you take
Yeah.
a youngster today, that's with me. I would go through things where we're going to do some reading. Some couldn't read well. So I still find a way to get them a chance to read and not so that they don't feel bad about it. Then
Mhm.
I'll
Yeah.
get with them
Mhm.
and say, hey, we're going to read this. And then I'm going
Mhm.
to call on you to read this next time I'm here. And hey, if you take this book, study this, and find a way that I could spend a little more time. I even
Time
let
with
kids
them.
know
Right.
I'm going to spend the first 20 minutes with these 3 kids because we had something we're working on and have someone now take charge of the rest of the
And
class.
see, that's part of the system that the teachers don't often get to do.
Right.
They
Right.
don't
No, they
often
don't have
get
time for that.
they don't have time to do that, and they
No,
don't have different groups to
no.
support that.
Right.
They don't have groups that support the slower learner, and they don't have groups. I actually thought that the person that excelled, hey, they doing fine, but they're not doing fine socially, and they're
And
Right.
not doing fine with the communication skills. That
Mhm.
also brings them to sometimes devastating odds.
and it's not a gender bias thing, but
No,
there are
no.
no men teaching.
Mm-mm. That's true too.
There are no men teaching. And
Yeah.
then for me, I mean, I'm not a teacher. I'm coming in, I'm a volunteer that's reaching out.
Yeah.
Right,
They don't
right.
see the kids
They don't see a lot of
in
men.
our culture neighborhood don't see us that
Mm-mm.
much. And if so, then we the basketball player. I played basketball in school, but superstar. Just
Mhm.
no, I'm just an average guy. They ask me why you helping me because I want to help you. I want you to
Right,
have the
right.
best opportunity for your best opportunity. What can I do for you? Let me know. I found kids
Mhm.
who could sing. I found someone they could talk to who was into singing. They were
Mhm.
artists. I find someone could do art. They were good with math. I find someone in the community. Hey, can you come to the school with me and
Yeah.
talk to these kids? Or can we talk to their parents and maybe you can help them let them
And
know
it's
what
almost like
direction to take their
lighting
kids.
a fire.
Yes,
Like lighting a fire to not only their talents, but lighting
yes.
a fire to their just being inquisitive
Well,
about
understand
you know
this.
things that they don't know or they don't understand.
I've been in an environment where the children's parents were 15, 16, under
Yes,
18, no more than
yes,
18 when they had them. So these kids are 10 years old
Yeah.
and their parents are just 22, 23
Yeah.
years old.
Yeah.
right, right.
So, and many times, unfortunately, their parents didn't get a good education or may have quit
Mhm.
school. So if their parents
Right.
quit school at whatever age it is you can quit or before 15, 16,
Mhm.
then it's not a whole lot of help academically. They're going
Yeah.
to be able to do it. This kid probably after fourth or fifth grade.
Right.
Exactly.
So now the kid
Exactly.
so they're doing their best, but they're learning simply from what they see.
Sure.
So
Exactly.
now a kid that's 10, 11 is grown
Mhm.
because they have discovered that their parents can't read or write well.
Right.
Right.
So now they can manipulate that.
They can manipulate the
Yeah. They can
situation.
Yeah.
manipulate that.
And,
Yeah.
and that
Yeah.
happens. So now a parent is afraid to and ashamed to come to school their kids are having problems and talk to a teacher, a principal, a counselor, whoever, and say, I need help. I don't have the education. And we know, we see all the programs where people can get GEDs or better the education.
Sure.
But if we have to help the family, the entire
Mhm.
family.
Right.
We're going to help the child
Right.
because you doing everything you can for them. Then
Right.
they leave and go back into darkness.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And I
Right.
say that, well, darkness is where they come from. I'm not putting
I'm
putting
not
that
trying to put them
down.
back there.
I'm
Right.
not,
Right.
I'm
Right.
not
Right.
putting it down because they have learned to cope and deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah,
watch
you're right.
kids. Sitting at an elementary school, just early waiting to go in. I'm watching 2 or 3 kids walking across the football field, smoking a joint,
Mm-hmm.
passing like they're 18, 20 years
Wow.
old. Watch them go in
Mm-hmm.
the side door to get into school. I go in and sign in. Then I hear 2 of the teachers with 2 of these kids was like, they're acting strange. And like,
It ain't
and
strange.
it's not strange, but also the teachers are not aware. And
Yeah.
why would
Right.
I think my
Right.
third or
Right.
Yeah,
fourth grade
because
kid
why
was
on
coming in and
earth would
smoking a
your
joint?
mind come with the
Yeah,
conclusion of,
yeah,
immediately,
yeah.
they
So now they got a behavior problem. I would tell the social worker and the counselor, no, they're high.
Mm-hmm.
I saw them come in. Can you call them in? And
Right.
let's
Right.
just have them sit with you and let's
Right.
talk. And you're not going to charge them. They see me. They know I saw them and say,
Yeah.
hey, you need to listen to your authority today. And I got them to pull you in here so that you don't get in any more
In
trouble.
any more trouble.
Then I
Right.
see a little beautiful little second grade girl who's done kicked the teacher and thrown a chair at someone. So
Right.
now the teachers are like, I mean, at first they're handcuffed. I
Yeah.
don't expect them to want to beat them, but they can't they can't react any kind of way.
Mm-mm.
Right.
Mm-mm.
Or they're going to lose their job. And
Right.
the kids know
Right.
this.
Yeah.
And not only that, if you complain too many times about it, then you got a
Yeah.
problem not only with
Yeah.
with the
So I
administration.
always ask I would
Mm-hmm.
talk to the principals, assistant principal, everyone that was in charge of me being there to say, look, I know you got rules and I'm going to try to follow them. And I'm not going to be reacting to no authority or grabbing a kid or anything. But if they
Mm-hmm.
just can't follow the instruction where everyone else can learn, I'll be sending them back to you. I'm
Right.
not going to
Right.
argue with
They
them.
can't be they
I'll
can't
just,
be here.
yeah, I'll
Mm-hmm.
just send
They
them
can't
back to
be here.
you. And I had days where I had 30 kids and 15 of them had to go.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
it's not being bad. I'm not even arguing with them. Just line up. No, you got to go. And no,
Mm-hmm.
you can't come to the next class. So I see you in 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So
And that's it.
that
Yeah.
brings up a question for me. So how does one become an advocate and get to partner in this day and age in the school systems outside of being a teacher? Because it would seem to me that as much as it's needed, the systems are like,
Well, I think nationwide, state by state, they have the volunteer applications that you could put in and you want to do that. And I've done that, but at the same
Mhm.
time, I had no ambition to want to come in and be a substitute teacher.
Sure.
And I love all the kids, but I couldn't be under enough. Thank God I was able to endure 36 years of government, and
Mhm.
I don't need any more restrictions on the do's and don'ts.
Oh
Adult
yeah. Oh yeah.
babysitting is enough,
Mm-hmm.
but now with
Mm-hmm.
children,
Mhm.
I don't want to go there. So I would come in and this is my program. This is my plan of
Mhm.
action. Does this fit with what you're trying to do with a group of kids? If
Sure.
so, allow me the opportunity. If they're complaining or you don't like what I'm doing, just tell me to go. I'm not losing any money, and
Sure.
I didn't come in to make your environment worse than it is. And I understand it, and it's a teachable moment for me.
Mhm.
And I'm
Mm-hmm.
here to show up. These are the days that I'm available. I'll be here. You don't have to question it. But what I found hard for me trying to get more men, but
Yeah.
even women say, hey, can you do an hour? Like
Right.
2 hours a
Mm-hmm.
month, maybe just come in an hour and speak.
Mhm.
Well, people want to and they can. It wasn't always because of the job situation. It's
Mhm.
just that, hey, the problem they have trying to deal with a kid and the parents making a lot of noise because the communication lines are not clear with school administration and parents, and some children are sometimes not very honest with what's going on, and the parents know it, and then the bias. So we just human beings. I work with teachers that I saw that they were afraid of the children, and the children knew it. They were also biased to a great degree, where as an adult, discriminative, but their job, and I'm not here every day with them, but I let them know I've identified it as an adult.
Yeah.
I'm not here. I'm not going to no principal to grade you anything, but you're going to have to try a different way to reach these kids. And you don't trust them, and they know it, so they don't trust you.
Right.
So if nothing else, I know you got to check the criteria was done. But if you're going to be a teacher, and I haven't been one, but if you're going to do this for any period of time of your life, you're going to have to work on some social skills. And when I say that, that's not just I know how to talk to someone. Do you know how to agree to disagree and still handle business? Can I be colorblind? I say I am, but can I be colorblind and not just be, don't you know who I am authority? They do. They don't care about your title. They care about your function, and how you care or don't care about them.
Right.
That's a child. As an adult, we feel the same way.
Right.
Because I'm at an age, you got one time to come the wrong way with me. I'm not going to fuss with you.
Yes.
I'm just going to separate myself from you. And then I'm okay with no. I'm okay with receiving no for communicating with people, and I have no problem giving you a no.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we agree to disagree. We're still gonna live with or without each other. You know, that's it. I won't grow. I just left my father-in-law's house, and I have a nephew in the 8th grade, and I'm working with him. Actually, I'm mentoring him in the evenings, Monday through Wednesday, with his work, and just trying to get him more disciplined with what he's doing. He appreciates it, but I appreciate it more because, again, I'm like I told him, I really don't even like. I say this: I don't like dealing with kids your age because you know everything.
Right.
So my thing is that I told him you a model with me because little programs I write. He sit with me and I go through them and say, what do you think? What do you think your peers would think about this and that? And he's straight up. He gives opinion. He talked, this is good. Uncle Fawn, he called me. I think, you probably could come to the school and talk to the guys with this. So I'm going to reach out for the sake of him also to put him in check, to let teachers know not only does he have a mother and father who care, but he has an uncle who has time to check up, not on him. I'm checking up on what's going on, period. Is everything okay? Not that how you treating him. Is he treating you right?
Right. Yeah.
Is he treating you right? So when we get that understanding, then it's going to help him become a better student and maybe give you opportunities that you even reach out more because he's hungry to learn. If you have something you can feed him, do it. If it's too much, he can just bring it home as a leftover. I'll take it from there, and I'll take it from there.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I got a passion about kids, about people learning, but young people, giving them the opportunity to learn things that they like, and then also understand there's some things you're not going to like to learn,
That's
but
right.
it's a part of the process. It's a part of the
Yeah.
process.
Yeah, but the things that you don't like will afford you to do the things that you do. Yeah.
And I don't want time to go. This is one thing about Coach Short. I tell my family and friends, and I'm really not impressed with your child being an honor roll student for whatever the grades they made. My concern is, can they think for themselves?
Yeah.
Because you got good grades, that's wonderful. That means you can take tests well. Can you think well in real life?
Exactly.
Because there's a whole lot of educated fools in society in every walk of life.
Say that. Okay.
And that's what we got to get away from. And we give too much credence to that.
Yeah.
And that's not the root of where we's come from.
Okay, so this approval rating just went up to 99.9. by that very statement right there. The educated fool.
Yes.
Okay, so because I'm really fascinated by you. So let me ask you. So you said that you retired from federal government,
Yes.
um, and you said 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So I was going to say just in the nick of time, but
Yes. God is good. He's an
all of
on-time God.
it. True. So this is pretty much where I'm going to go. And we want to know about you, not in a political sense or anything like
Mhm.
that. Because we will stay very clear of
Right.
all of that. But
Yeah.
so, can you share a little bit of that on your experience in federal government and how you even came to be there, and maybe
Yes.
something what
Well,
you.
as a kid, first of all, when you live in Washington, D.C., then everything is government. So
Yeah.
as a teenager, you can graduate high school, go take civil service test,
Mm-hmm.
pass that test, and you get appointed to a government job. Well, I had the privilege and had the honor that I had aunts who worked in the federal government. So I was able to work in a government summer job. During this period of time, Marion Barry was the mayor of Washington, D.C. He had a great summer program that I started when I was 14, I think, in the program. And I worked that program
Mm-hmm.
through college.
Mm-hmm.
I went to high school in North Carolina. I would still, anytime we were out of school, I could go back to DC and go back to the agency in the office that I worked and work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, so I'm familiar with the people, and I had people who were and I worked around management. And one of my aunts was in management with the government. One of my other aunts, she worked government, but it was with the hospital systems in DC area. So I saw leadership, and my family were business people, small business people. So I understood being accountable and responsible, and I utilized the agency as a resource center for me to grow up.
Okay.
And I studied business management in school and worked in a paint company for some years and went back to DC because I needed a government job. You couldn't make any money in North Carolina. I lived in Charlotte, went to UNC Charlotte. I mean, it's just that I say the government is going to give me benefits and the pay is going to be beyond the local economy. And I told my mom I'm going to work 5 years and maybe I get an opportunity to do some business management with some sports company or something. And it turned into be 36 years.
Wow.
And in and out of management, different positions. So I just still gaining responsibility skills. And I say this, the more accountable and responsible you are, you get more closer to your highest source. It wasn't that I was separated, but I understood my source to get through whatever was going through. But also anything that I'm engaged in and I can handle the pressure was something I could share with someone else as an experience to help them get through their pressures. It may be a different situation, but pressure is pressure, and give the different mindset of how we think to do things and being positive. I mean, I'm not naive. I understand that life can be cruel and it's not set up for us to succeed.
Yes.
So you got
You
to
have to work toward it. Yeah, you
got to have a system. So that's how. And I was fortunate to meet my wife, who's also positive charge, and even grow and mature more as a man and grow in marriage of being saying I'm a team player. Okay, now I get to be
you get to be that team player.
Got to use skills now. Here we go.
Yeah.
You got to use those skills.
You got to put your money where your mouth is.
Yes.
You say you a team player,
right?
You've been given recognition and awards for the things that you've done, and part of that is being an author. Talk to us about briefly about your books that you have. You've got 3 that are out. And most of them are inspirational and devotionals.
They are devotionals.
Why inspiration and devotionals?
Because that's my everyday life, and I can say it come with how I had to function as a leader But the first thing I had to do was really understand myself every day.
Very good.
Every day. So
I love that.
I devotion myself every day.
Right.
And then
Right.
I was not trying to sell my devotion. My writing is not that I sit down and write and get something done. It's a vibe that comes through
Right.
experiencing life every day. And
I think you've emphasized that dead on. That if you're going to inspire others, and you're going to inspire people through your writing, or you're going to talk to others about inspiration, you have to inspire yourself.
Right, right.
So a lot of the stuff that you have to put out has to be from within.
Yes.
It's not that you pull it from some informational booth, or you pull it from, well, let me get a verse from here, and add it on. I'll add my 2 pieces at the end. They have to understand that especially in today's society with social media and all of the things that we put up on the computer, we put it in our books, we put it in our, on our phone, and we send out a blast. And you send out an inspirational blast, and everybody's going, well, where did you read that at? And you're like, no.
Yeah.
It does. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
This is not something that I read.
No.
This is something that I felt today.
Sure. It's
and
really
this is
not.
what I wrote because of what I
checking
felt.
the world out. It's checking the world out. It's checking us who are believers, the word out of how we are actually using the toolbox of the word that we have gained as Christians. And how do we know how to use these tools that we say we say?
Know how to use these tools?
Right.
And people have to understand, just like you said, we use tools. So if that's a part of your upbringing and a part of what your belief is, then it's in your toolbox.
Yes.
You have to learn how to use it. Well, what does it mean to say this if you don't use it?
Right. If you don't mean it.
Right.
So when you say be transformed, you say it's an inspirational devotional. What can the person that reads this book expect to how do they need to be prepared to at the end of reading it, just put the book down and say, okay, I read that.
Right.
When we say be transformed, now you got my attention to read it.
And my subtitle is think about it, be about it, pray about it.
There.
Now see,
so
you might only catch 98.5% of the people.
Because that's what we're doing. I'm not in selling religion or spirituality.
Exactly.
But you're calling on something or someone. You have some source when things get tight.
Exactly.
You want things to get right. So whatever. My source is, I believe, I'm in Jesus Christ.
Right.
Lord, our Savior.
Right.
I'm not selling that to you, but because the thing is, I can take my scriptures off from my devotional writing, and it's just a positive message.
Well, not only that, the thing about it is that a lot of people don't understand. I've had people say to me over the last 6 years, I call it now for the last 2 or 3 weeks, I've said, I'm getting off my soapbox. I just tell them I'm getting off my soapbox after I write whatever it is. But the thing about it is my soapbox might include something that may nudge you toward reading scripture.
Right. Yeah.
It might include something toward you reading history. Right. It might include you reading towards something. So you saying be transformed and giving it that tagline.
Yes.
I'm giving you this, but I'm asking you, if you truly want to be transformed, you need to do all of this.
Yeah, and believe this. And I'm trying to write something now that's going to be a message, but I don't write so that I can become a religious debater with.
Exactly. It's not debatable.
Yeah.
It's not debatable.
I'm not trying to, take up on your biblical acumen.
Well, not only that, I could be transformed because after reading your book, I don't want to smoke anymore.
Yeah. But the thing is,
drink anymore.
My books come from what I guess you call it a blog. I created today's short story. My wife created this as books for me because I write all the time and leave a positive message with friends. She said, you need to put these in a book. And Miss Nanette, you know my wife. It's gonna go in the book. It's gonna go in
it's
the
gonna
book.
go in the book.
So I was like, hey, I got plenty of them, just take it. And that's how Be Transformed started.
Exactly.
But I still have still another 500 writings, but
exactly. And I think that's the way all of us that write are, because you don't stop, because it's
and
in
people
you.
won't read. So I call it Today's Short Story, which I put out on Sundays.
Right.
And you know why? And I still had someone say, that was a long short story. Well, you won't read a book because you don't read a book. This ain't even a page.
This
in
is
a
shorter
book.
than this.
This ain't in a page. So you read something today.
Yeah.
And it made you think. It made you think something today.
Yeah.
Oh my
and
goodness.
it help. It's gonna make you, whether you like, it's gonna make you change something.
Just go ahead and read it. If you want to look, if you want to read half of it and come back, go ahead. Just please read something today. Read
this something. If you give me space, I want to provoke thought to you. And if my provoking thought, I like to provoke something positive for you to think about.
Right.
Exactly. And your other devotional is called Sunrise.
Yes.
Why sunrise?
Well, I kind of put it in a phase that if we just transform in this devotional, I read devotionals over and over and over throughout the year.
Yes.
But then there has been an awakening in your spirit, in your mindset, and your perspective with things. So sunrise is that.
Sunrise, yes.
First thing in the
New
morning.
dawn.
First thing in the morning. So now this hopefully that we're creating a habit. That's a good habit that you can grow on and you can share with someone else.
Well, the final thing that you said that caught my attention, and I know I know already, but I want our guests to know, those that see the replay, those that are listening now to know, one of your favorite sayings is no efforts, no results.
No effort, no results.
I don't know that people today, I know they know what results are, because they want to be paid, they want to be, given accolades, they want somebody to talk about them, say good words about them, so they know the result part. But they'll question how much effort.
Right.
Or what is effort? Really?
Or what is an effort? You mean I gotta try this?
Exactly.
This is not gonna be a positive thing? Because a lot of times we put in the effort and we don't get the result that we're looking for.
And so that's why we need each other, because it's something that we're missing or don't know. We have a blind spot. And there's someone, regardless, good, bad, or ugly, we are an example or a model to someone. If we happen to walk out of our house on a regular basis, and I don't say this in a creepy way, someone's watching you.
You're right. You're right.
Someone's watching you. So what from that distance afar and unknowing of you, what would their perspective be of you in describing you, not even knowing you, by watching you of how you conduct yourself? Exactly. And, we live in neighborhoods because we move everywhere. You may wave at your neighbor and don't know him.
That's right.
Now, but when we grew up, our neighbors knew us, knew our uncles, cousins, this and that.
That's right.
And it's not being not sociable, but also you have to be careful that people don't want to talk to you and speak. And you end up in a neighborhood, a community, family feud by just talking to someone today. It's not a matter if they look like your kindred spirit. It's that they just don't. I don't want to be bothered.
Yeah, that's right.
No, I'm not racist. I do people that look like me the same way. I just
right.
I'm not into people. I'm not into people. You're just like, I'm not a morning person.
And you know what? It's funny.
I claim that because
it's funny that you say that.
Now 11, 12 o'clock at night, I'm like, woohoo! But that early morning.
But you know what?
If you don't talk to me, I'm not mad.
Right. The thing too is that I think I've never been a morning person. Never. I still am not a morning person.
I only said that because Miss Nanette, me and her talk all the time. She told me that. I said that to mess with her right now.
Right. I
Well,
function.
I just say morning is not my sweet spot. How about
I
that?
no. I function,
Yeah.
but I am not the best. You
Yeah.
and you know what? I didn't realize that until I started working where I was working.
Mm,
You know, you working in a prison system,
yeah.
and
Right.
these guys are hitting you at 6 o'clock in the morning
Yeah.
with the stupidity of some of the things that they want. And I had got to the point where, you know, you're not really trying to socialize and get them to know you or anything like that. But I got to the point where I would tell them 10:30.
Mm.
10:30.
Don't bring it
Let
to me till
me know
10:30.
that problem at 10:30.
Yeah.
10:30, I'm good. But
Yeah.
and I'm not a coffee drinker, so coffee's
Mhm.
not helping.
Right.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I don't do the tea and coffee in the morning.
Mhm.
That's not it. I can have breakfast, but I am not the person to bring me total stupidity in the morning.
Yeah.
Even with my kids. It was like
And that's
you
something.
knew to organize yourself before you went to bed last night. So getting up this morning,
Mhm.
giving me your grief
Yeah.
is not an option. But I do say
Mhm.
that it's a mindset.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's mine, and it's a
It's a
uniqueness that we
mindset.
all have that we have to understand.
Yes.
Unless we communicate,
Yes.
we don't understand, because I may say, I'm calling her, I'm calling him. He doesn't answer his phone at 9:30 in the morning. He should be up at work. Well, no, he doesn't get up at that hour.
Right.
Because
Right.
not that he's working for someone else's job. What
Right.
he does is what you would call a night shift. My best thinking, I'm a night owl.
Yeah.
Exactly.
My
And
man,
best
everything
thinking
that I
comes at night.
done
Comes at
absorbed
night.
all day now is turned into ideas.
Yes.
And,
Yeah.
and you
Yes.
check my phone, I got all kind of titles. I don't know where it's go, but something hit me with a title. I may get up,
Exactly.
watch a news clip.
And I think
with a
we are the
title.
worst people.
I know.
We are terrible
Yeah.
because we'll keep bags and bags of sheets of paper with little lines on it. And
Yes.
somebody said, well, what is this? I don't know, but I'll use it later. Put that
That's
paper
right.
back.
That's right. That's how
right.
I write. Now,
Yes, and that's how we write. Yes, it is.
and that's how I have my last book in telling it was a collaboration with my wife for
Mhm.
couples. And we had talked about it forever. And I said, okay, let's write something, baby. And got a title. The title of it is Love Vibrations. And we came to agreement with that and wrote. And the writing of it was that I don't sit down and just write.
Yeah.
And she was like, well, we need to get this thing done.
Mhm.
And like, I'm not one of your clients, honey. You know how I do this. But
Right.
I don't want to hear this anymore. And I was in a situation, I had knee surgery, so I'm in the house. I can't move around. I work from home anyway, before COVID. So I sat down in probably about 3 or 4 days. I wrote 31 messages, poems is really what they were. And then we
Right.
And I don't do that, but God knew what was on our heart,
Exactly what you need
what
to
been
do.
doing, been preparing it, and I got it done. And then after I did all that, it was probably a year that we got that the book. And I was like, now you done had me pump all this out.
Right.
And I laughed because it's not that I couldn't do it. It's that, okay, here we go. Mindset.
Right.
It's a mindset.
You got to transform the way you're used to doing something in your comfort. I'm not out of my comfort zone. I'm in my zone. I'm doing what I do.
Sure.
Just do it. It's in you. Just do it.
It's in you. And it's a mindset. And if we get in the idea of, just like you said, you know, be transformed, sunrise, you know, even the love vibrations, you know, loving yourself should be enough to get you going and get you started. So we need all of that. No effort, no results.
No
All
effort, no result. And it's
things,
about you want love in your life, then you have to be love in your life.
Exactly. In your own life.
A love and laughter experience. Love and laughter experience. So
exactly. So where can people get in touch with you? I had www Linktree Coach Short. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
And call my wife.
Exactly. Yes, Miss Anissa. Miss
Yes,
Anissa.
and my Yahoo is Alphonso Short at
Okay.
yahoo.com. And you can go on Facebook, Alphonso Short also.
All right.
But
Mhm.
call
And
my wife.
I know
Call her, email her, in text her, because it's the same. But I will own up to the truth. I don't be checking email,
Right.
and I love talking. I love sharing, but I'm a quiet person. I'm very isolated in a
Right.
sense. So
Right.
I'm analytical and methodical on
mhm.
do what I need to do
And
so
get
that
it done.
it
And
get
get
it
it done.
done
And
where
get
it's
it
what I
done.
say my time, but then and it's
Mhm.
not that, oh, you have nothing to do, relax, but I do try relaxing more. Missing the net knows my plight with some health situations
Right.
in
Right.
past history. So uh, it didn't take those situations, but I'm even more grateful with every day.
Right.
And
Right.
I don't stress about anything.
Yeah.
One thing that with my young people and everyone, whether I'm talking with church
Mhm.
crowd, teenagers, young adults, married people, divorced people, whatever. I wrote a poem in 1988, I think it was. I called it "In the Black."
Mhm.
Mm.
And I have a thinker. I have a young man did a T-shirt with me with the
Uh,
Rodin thinker on it, and
mhm.
it's in the poem says every change in man must come through internal understanding and acceptance of himself. Man
Mm.
is the only creature that's able to reshape and remold himself by altering his attitude. You are where you are and what you are because of the dominating thoughts that occupy your mind.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Love
Transform your
that.
mind.
Love
Transform
that.
your mind.
Transforming
So
your
that
mind.
leads us to the final question, which Felice usually throws at people. But we
Yeah, but
almost
I had another question though that I was kind of
okay.
really
Well, go with
wanting
the
to
other
do.
question first, but
Oh,
I think we're at
you,
99.1 now.
well,
I think.
right. Well, no, we got the 9, and we that line is going over to that. Okay. So you said you recently moved or um
Yes, 3 months ago,
from yeah
90 days ago.
90 days ago. Woo, counting the days. So in you're such a community or involved in the community. So I'm just curious as to what formed your decision to move from one community to another, and what do you look for in the community that you're going to, because you are such a server of community.
Well, my wife is from this area,
Mm-hmm.
and our part of our plan was that once I retired from my work, she also worked with government when we first got married, and then she became independent with other businesses, so she didn't have to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Was that once I retired, that we would start moving closer to her family. And the opportunity arose just like magic. We put
Mm-hmm.
our house on the market, and 3 days later, someone had gave it an offer.
Wow.
So, so that was taking place. So again, on her is the hustle and bustle to get everything together. How we're going to move, find a place, and then we actually we didn't move into the exact spot where we wanted, but we're 15 minutes from her family. They're here.
Mm-hmm.
It's just me and her. We don't have children. And I
Okay.
told her, I said, well, I'm cool. Your family gonna be seeing you every day, and and uh, and they do more
Yeah.
than because they don't understand. She works from home. That does seem like she's working, but she's working. I said, well, you got to set your work schedule because I don't work anymore.
Right. Right. Right.
Mm-hmm.
You're
Mm-hmm.
not going to interfere with me because I try to put
Mm-hmm.
in quality 3 or 4 hours a
Mhm.
day with working on something. It may not be a finished product, but it's the idea, it's the
Sure.
structure of what I'm doing, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm bringing what I do is transferable.
Yeah.
Is moving into a neighborhood, into a
Mm-hmm.
community, and I was going to dive in, but I was dealing with some health issues. I'm going to wait till the first of the year, but I'm already communicating with the schools to
Uh-huh.
see between two schools who can I come in with my program and do some things and spend more time because I have a 19-year-old nephew that's a sophomore in college and one is 11th grade, and my nephew who's here right now is in the 8th grade. So I'm going to be learning from them how
Sure.
to communicate in this culture that they're in, that to me, I laugh at myself now that I seem old to them because of what
Right.
I think, and I respect their
Mhm.
thoughts and how they move. But I'm stretching them to
Mhm.
think more mature and still enjoy being the age they are. That's
Mhm.
important. I
Yeah,
don't expect you to think like a 61-year-old man,
sure.
but I don't expect you to think like a 5-year-old because you're beyond that age.
Right,
Right, right,
absolutely.
right.
Well, once again, kudos and and I love your partnership for sure. Okay, so the burning question or the ending question, not so much burning, it could be burning. So all of your gifts to the world, and as I started early in this podcast, I thank you for again giving, sharing your gifts to the world. I admire, the path that you have taken and how you show up. We know from whom your source comes from. But so as we give our gifts out to the world, we tend to be givers and givers and givers, and our cup at times empties in our giving. So, what do you do to fill your cup or to keep your cup full if you don't let it start emptying?
I talked to my wife and my less than handful, few friends. I
Mm-hmm.
talked with my mother
Oh,
because she's living and viable and
mm-hmm.
straightforward. But
Mm-hmm.
I do again. I go back. I have a great family, and I'm inspired even when empty because I realize now as a grown man that I can recall times how my aunts and uncles and grandfather and grandmothers on both sides of my family were moving. I said I had to be tired, and really, what you said, the word, they were empty, yet they
Yeah.
continued to be my grandmother and grandfather, my aunt, my uncle, whatever. So I don't. That's why I say no effort, no results.
Yeah.
They never quit. They were
Mm-hmm.
not trying to be a superstar. They were
Yeah.
being a provider in love for family and
Mm-hmm.
for us individually, however we needed it. It's so important to me. I don't need a grade about it. I don't want no trophy that I don't misrepresent my mother
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
and my grandmother,
Yeah.
grandfather, and my
Mm-hmm.
grandparents that passed away, my family, my wife, and I don't want to misrepresent my family nor friends
Yeah.
in my actions or activities.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Mm-hmm.
and that's not a pressure on me. It's
Right.
a reminder to me.
Sure.
Right, right.
Very
Well, we
good.
want to thank you so much for, you, just
Yeah.
you being you. Because the thing about it is, these are not things that you go off and become different job titles and different, elevation of education, and you do different things. But when it comes from the heart,
Mm-hmm.
it just lands different. When a person could go and talk to a psychiatrist and never get through to their breakthrough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when they talk to someone that's talking to them genuinely from the heart,
Mm-hmm.
genuinely from what you've done with them and for them.
Yes.
And sometimes you don't even know what you did for them. You don't
And
see
it's
that till later on.
that's
you
true.
know
And Miss Nanette, you are closing me. I have a project that's been birthing for a while. It's to me it's birth, but I got some things to finish with it. And I
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
don't really want to say much, but since you said it, if you can see this, it's
Mm-hmm.
called
Bruised but not broken. No.
Bruised
Bruised
but
but
Not
not
Broken.
broken.
And you
Okay.
talk about a heart matter. It is.
Yes.
And that's really a program that I'm planning to spread the wings on and let it fly with. However, in church system in the secular world, with children, adults, whatever, this is shared experience of common everyday life. We'll be doing something together, no doubt. My wife and
Yes.
I,
Yes. Please
will
do.
be in
Please do.
Fayetteville and doing some, but that's in the
Yes.
making
Yes. Please. Please
of
do.
doing that.
It
Because
sounds like we need to have a return engagement on the calendar.
yes, yes. Because the thing about it is, I'll tell you a little secret that most of the people that come on, they don't know. When we go over the hour,
Yeah.
that means that we've got something to say.
Yeah.
You know, when
Thank
we
you.
look when we look at it and say that this is something that's worth hearing, and it may take a little bit more than an hour to get it out, We're not trying to rush anybody to get it out. We want to make sure that the people get what we want to give them. And this is one of those things. And when you do programs like this, as you and I have talked in the past, how we have talked about it and said different things. I've had over 300 kids, as I told you before, and I tell anybody that I coached over 20 some odd years.
Right.
I had one athlete call me this week saying she was going to sing for an opening of a pageant or something, and all she wanted to hear me say was that she could do it.
Amazing. Amazing. Because me being an athlete, Miss Nene, I deal with guys who who play in the league, who coach in college football, who coach in high school football, who are playing, and it's and because to me some of them I went to school with their parents.
Exactly.
So,
you know who they are.
I just know your parents. I know.
And she said, I just wanted to hear your voice. You know, I just wanted to hear you say it. You know, I wanted to hear you say, you know, and that just brought all kind of warmth, you know, because this is not someone that I talked to yesterday or the last week, or you know what I mean? I don't talk to her on a regular basis. I see what she does. I congratulate her on Facebook and everything. But to have someone say that they appreciate you giving them encouragement, even after they've made it.
Yes.
You know, even after they've accomplished what they strided at, you know, that's something to say. So for you to be able to touch the hearts of the children, touch the hearts of the community, is something that the community's got to begin to realize, that it's not just the teachers and the parents and everything. It's some of these mentors and some of these coaches and you know, the bus driver that talks to the kids, the janitor that talks to the kids.
We all have that.
It's a community. That's what they meant when they said the village. It's more than just, you know, what we have. So we want to make sure. We say it
takes a village to raise a child, and you've heard me say this before. It takes a village to raise a village.
Exactly.
That's right.
True.
That's true. That's true. We need to get back to
we are the village.
We got to get back to it. So we want to thank you. And as Felice said, we probably are going to have to bring you back with this Bruised But Not Broken program. We're definitely going to make sure that we come back and tell them how we patched up the bruises and, you know, told them that they're going to be all right. They're going to be all right.
I got it. And longest, I hope that my rating stays in the
you're the 99%. So there you
go. Well, we want to thank you, and we want to thank our people. Let me just tell you that we've got some viewers that came on and said good evening and everything. We got Priscilla Hubbard.
That's my aunt. She raised me.
Good.
Okay. We got Larry Chandler.
That's my stepfather.
Okay. We've got them on, and we've got Cheryl Beverett, who's a lifelong friend of mine. We grew up across the street from each other. Part of our village was her grandmother and my grandmother. Yes. So these are people that understand what it takes. And we appreciate them joining in. We appreciate those that will be watching, that have been silent and just watching, as well as those that will watch the replays. Please go to YouTube. You can go to www.NanetteMBuchanan.com, and you can see the replays. They're there. And we're going to let you know the next time Mr. Short visits us, because he's on point. This is what we need for uplifting. You know? So thank you very much. Have a good evening, everyone. And we will talk to you next week. Next Monday.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much.